What is up, guys? It's your boy, Get Sick right before the big expansion, of course, Cacus, and today we've got some brand spanking new Destiny 2 news, courtesy of the Bungie weekly update that has just gone live, revealing official information. And so, let's get started. But just before we do, guys, Destiny 2 is absolutely popping right now, but it won't be like that forever, and there's nothing better than having an awesome game to play in those Destiny downtimes. Well, that's where today's sponsor comes in, Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance, developed by Atlus. Now, if you're saying, I've never heard of any of this before, Atlus is the same developers behind the Persona series, one of the most beloved franchises out there. Now, Vengeance is the definitive version of SMT5, and there's a ton of new content and quality of life features it brings. There's two campaigns, the Canon of Creation and Canon of Vengeance, featuring new characters, Yoko Hiromine and the Kadishtu. And there's guests that can join your battles. You have an expanded wasteland where there's a beautiful new location to explore, Shinjuku, and also Shao Kahn, a mysterious dungeon. Not to mention quality of life features. You have the Megatsui rails, a fun new way to traverse the world, auto battling to speed up battles, and you can save everywhere. Guys, there's over 270 demons to recruit and command, and 40 new ones in this new version. Now, if that sounds cool to you, and it absolutely does to me, this is going to be out on the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series X, and S1, Nintendo Switch, and Steam. Basically, it's available on everything other than the Atari Jaguar, guys, and it's going to be coming out on June 14th. The perfect time, once you're done with that Destiny raid, you can relax and boot up a fantastic new game. Check it out, linked down in the description below. Alright, now first things first, what's been going on this week for Destiny 2? Well, quite a lot. Earlier this week, we had the Final Shape launch trailer release, then we had an embargo lift for everyone's early access content, so there's just so much information on the Final Shape out there, and also at the weekly reset, earlier Bungie had made Brave Arsenal drops in Onslaught more frequent, and now this week, the actual shiny version, those drop rates are also increased. So if you haven't gotten like the perfect shiny roll of your Brave Arsenal weapon you're going after, this is, well, the final, but also a great week to do it. Now, one more thing that happened at Reset was that the 0-hour exotic mission was updated with the final set of puzzles and secrets. You can now go in and earn that new exotic ship and unlock everything for your Outbreak Perfected. And of course, I did a guide on everything you need to know for this week, linked right up above. And then earlier today, oh my goodness, something pretty big happened. Sony accidentally just published the Final Shape. So there's an insane amount of spoilers out there. Bungie talks about this and says, hey, if you want to avoid spoilers, make sure you're basically off of social media for this entire weekend. I'm not going to discuss that too much in this video. I might make a completely separate video on the topic because it's just so insane. But who is Sony hiring? Like, this is like the 10th time they've done this, and they also apparently just leaked the new Elden Ring DLC at the same time. Like, absolute dinguses who can't tell what day it is? Like, what's going on, Sony? This is not like an isolated incident. Sony does this all the time. What an absolute joke of a company. Moving on from there, guys, let's get into the new information within the TWAB. First of all, as you can see playing in the background right here, there is a brand new collab between Destiny 2 and Dungeons and Dragons. And as you can see, we have some unique sparrows, we have some sick armor sets, some unique ghost shells as well, and even some emotes and a finisher. And this is all going to be available within the Eververse store on June 4th, along with the launch of the Final Shape. Now, moving on from there, guys, we get into the really important information, the Final Shape artifact preview. Bungie is straight up revealing every single artifact perk for the Final Shape. And again, I apologize if I suddenly start sounding like this. My nose is plugging up as I'm recording this, but let's go over column 1. So this is going to be all of the anti-champion weapons. We have anti-barrier pulse rifles, we have unstoppable sidearms, unstoppable scout rifles, overload hand cannons, and then anti-barrier submachine guns. Now, the standout here is absolutely unstoppable sidearms because that is going to apply to the rocket sidearms. And we saw how good the Indebted Kindness was when it was anti-barrier, right? And it can be overcharged, remember. Now, moving on from there for column 2, we have Logic Reductor. Weapons with the Radiolaria Transposer Origin perk deal increased damage to Vex, extends the duration of the Radiolaria pools created by that origin trait. And these are likely going to be like some of the new weapons. After that, we have Overcharged Armory. Weapons with the Dealer's Choice, Radiolaria Transposer, Collective Purpose, and Sundering origin traits are always overcharged if that's active. That can be a very powerful thing if there's a relevant activity that has overcharged weapons. After that, we have Authorized Mod Elemental Charge. The energy cost of the Elemental Charge mods are significantly discounted. That can be nice. Saint's Inspiration. Rounds loaded by the Cast No Shadows origin perk can overflow the magazine. Interesting. And then Winning Hand. While using weapons with the Dealer's Choice origins trait, combatant precision final blows or rapidly defeating combatants cause those targets to explode, dealing solar damage to nearby enemies. Having several equipped weapons with the Dealer's Choice origin trait increases the effect of the explosion. Wow, okay, so make everything into a sunshot, I guess. Moving on from there for column 3, we have Elemental Siphon. Rapid final blows with a kinetic weapon or a weapon matching your equipped super create an elemental pickup that matches your equipped super. Interesting. So that means if you're solar, you're going to get a fire sprite, right? Moving on from there, we have Overload Sword. Landing consecutive hits with a sword will stun the champion. So there you go. After that, Creeping Chill. Stasis weapon final blows against slowed or frozen targets release a burst that slows. After that, we have Press the Advantage. Breaking a combatant's shield grants increased weapon stability, handling, and reload speed. Swords gain increased guard resistance. And then lastly, we have Threaded Blast. Destroying a Tangle with a Strand weapon specifically creates a larger, more damaging explosion. Okay, after that, we have column 4, Counter Energy. When you or a member of your fire team stuns a champion, you gain energy for your least charged ability. That could be useful. Then we have Blade Stamina. Rapidly defeating combatants with a sword refunds some ammo. So we definitely have a bit of like a sword theme next season. After that, guys, we have Void Hegemony. So when you have a Void or Prismatic subclass equipped, defeating weakened targets provides a small Void Overshield. That could be useful because you can really build into having weakened effects. Moving on from there, we have Radiant Orbs. While you have a solar or prismatic subclass equipped, picking up an orb of power makes you radiant. That is crazy good. Like every single orb just instantaneously makes you radiant. You're going to have radiant all the time. And so Radiant Orbs is going to be insane next season. Galvanic Armor is the last one in this column. While you have an arc or prismatic subclass equipped, incoming damage from combatants is reduced while amplified. So depending on that damage reduction, that could be very good as well. Moving on from there, we have the final column 5. This is where we find the heavy hitters, the really big effects. First of all, we have Prismatic Transfer. When you cast your super, each member of your fire team with a super type different than yours gains a bonus to weapon damage. After that, we have Argent Blade. While you have Armor Charge, dealing damage with a sword consumes an armor charge and empowers your sword for a short time, granting it bonus damage and energy charge rate. So we absolutely have a sword theme next season. After that, guys, we have Expanding Abyss. Void sources deal increased damage to weakened targets. That's huge. Like, that is massive. Depending on that increased damage, that could really impact the DPS meta. Like, everyone's going to be using Void weapons if you actually get a significant damage increase from this perk. Next up, we have Shield Crush. While you have Woven Mail, Frost Armor, the new keyword for stasis, or a Void Overshield, your melee recharges faster and deals increased damage. While you have Amplified or Radiant, your grenade recharges faster and deals increased damage. So that seems extremely good as well, especially, Woven Mail, improving your melee damage on the Banner of War Titan. Like, oh my goodness, that's exactly what you want. After that, guys, we have lastly Transference. Gain increased grenade and melee damage while Transcendent, where you have to be on Prismatic, you build the light and dark meter, and then you can activate Transcendence. Weapon final blows while Transcendent refund light and dark energy after Transcendence ends. This could be insane, especially, it looks like a lot of these are perks here for the seasonal artifact. They work like with a certain element or Prismatic. So you have a lot of reason to play Prismatic, and being able to just constantly activate Transcendent because you're refunding your energy, that could be really, really good. Moving on from there, we have some new details about the Final Shape raid. First of all, it's called Salvation's Edge, with Bungie saying Salvation's Edge, world's first race details. So this is going to begin on June 7th at 10 a.m. Pacific. I'm going to be doing my best to be live streaming both on Twitch and on YouTube at the same time during this experience. And so if you want to see an absolute Destiny dad do his best in the raid, you can come watch me absolutely fumble encounters. After that, guys, some details you want to know. Contest mode will be enabled for 48 hours, and you will need to be at least 1965 power to be at the cap through all encounters. That's actually a fairly low power cap, right? Like, that's going to be relatively easy to achieve 1965 within those 3 days before the raid launches. Now, they say some entry requirements. Completing the Final Shape campaign and the Wildcard Exotic Quest is a requirement to launch the raid, but only the fireteam leader must meet this requirement. A fair warning for any members of a fireteam who do not complete the Final Shape campaign before jumping into Salvation's Edge, the raid does contain spoilers. Okay, so there you go. After that, we have some completion criteria. We have changed the way we track and recognize the world's first completion of the raid. Fire teams will no longer be required to return to orbit to finish the race. The first fire team to finish every encounter and loot the chest will be declared the world's first and have their victory immortalized in the Salvation's Edge world's first raid belts. And then they also say, similar to Chrono's End, we will be working to quickly check with analytics before we announce the winning team on our social channels, and we'll then start our more thorough security review. We don't want to make everyone wait around while we dig into this data, but if we do find that any cheating or violations have occurred, we reserve the right to disqualify a team and crown the next fire team in line world's first even after an announcement. Okay. Next up, we also have some information on Twitch rivals during the world's first race. So you can see right here, guys, the information, and there is going to be 2 emblems up for grabs. Again, I'm going to apply, see what happens, but your boy is going to be doing his best in that raid. However, something new, actually, we also have the Rest the Heart emblem, which is subscribed to your favorite Destiny 2 streamer, which is active between June 7th and June 9th. So you're actually going to get another emblem for subscribing. Moving on from there, guys, we also have some emblems associated with this event as well. You can see them right here. Sorry, not emblems, emotes available right here during this whole event as well. And then lastly, guys, some information you may need to know about. First of all, we are going to have 24 hours of downtime on June 3rd. So you're not going to be able to play the entire Monday. After that, here are the storage requirements for the Destiny 2 installation size. It's pretty big, so you might have to delete some stuff before you actually install the Final Shape. And so, guys, that's going to be it for the video. Hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus, that is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.